Hey Gearheads, and welcome to GT Garage Talk, a discussion about all things automotive. I am your host, Cory, and on this week's episode, we continue the theme from last week, talking with the leadership of the Texas Auto Writers Association. Last week, we had the VP of Events, Brian Ropp, with us, and this week, we have the outgoing VP of Events, the incoming president of Texas Auto Writers Association, Teia Collier. So grateful for her and her leadership, what she has done for the organization. But we're going to catch up a little bit about the New York International Auto Show and what she has been up to since last we talked, which was actually about a year ago in person at last year's Texas Auto Writers Auto Roundup Spring event. So without further ado, let's jump right into that. I am so pleased to have back the now president of Texas Auto Writers Association, Teia Collier. Welcome back. So good to have you.
Yay, thank you for having me again. Appreciate it.
Yes. Oh my goodness. So keeping up with you online has been, I'll put it nicely, exhausting. You have been going like non-stop since you and I talked last about a year ago at last year's Texas Auto Writers Auto Roundup. How you been? My goodness.
I am quite frankly living my best life.
You really have.
Learning.
You really have. So much going on, but we will get into all of that. But the reason I asked you on specifically this week is the New York Auto Show. It actually happened this year. Last year was canceled very last minute.
Happened.
And I wanted to get your thoughts,
sadly.
Impressions, and feelings from being there on the ground. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it. Things happened, but you were there. You experienced it. You had an amazing time. What can you tell us about New York Auto Show? What stood out to you?
So one, if you get the chance to go. Let's start there. Okay. It is alive. It is a moving extravaganza of new, next, and refresh.
Right.
One thing that's unique about it is that you get to have time with the brand new stuff. Like the brand new stuff and the people who want to tell you about the brand new stuff. And not just this year coming up, but you hear the projections for 3, 4, 5 years down the road. I loved that. I loved getting to see the way that brands tell the story about their vehicle. That's what's unique about an auto show. Instead of just seeing the car, you get to see the story that they were using to shape that vehicle. Love it. Love it. Not to mention the networking, the seeing friends, the talking to people, people who you haven't seen in months or a year or two, depending on when your last show was.
Right.
You know how when you're in a room with people who are playing at the top of their game and how it just kind of raises everybody up in the room together? It's like that.
Okay.
This was my first seeing World Car. That was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
To get to see and to hear why some of the vehicles were chosen as World Car Award winners. That was fun. I love also the auxiliary events that go around the vehicles, around the show itself. One of my favorites that I went to this year was Genesis House, which I had never been to. I was at first confused about what it was. Okay, I was like, so we have a house with cars in it? Yes. No. Maybe.
Right.
But what it is it takes you into this experience. It's a dining room at the top, a restaurant. I'm calling it a dining room, but it's like calling the Four Seasons a hotel.
Right.
Like that. You go in and there's this sense of calm, this sense of ease. There's no rush, no hurry. You're on this, you come up to it and New York City, because I live in Mesquite, New York City moves fast to me.
Yes.
The speed, the pace of it doesn't stop. I was like, do y'all sleep ever? Or stop long enough to take a deep breath? It's like a tiny sanctuary inside the city. And I'm saying tiny but it's not tiny. It's like a small, just respite from the noise, the speed, the horns, the mass of humanity that's walking around. Sometimes I need that mass of humanity, but sometimes you just need a minute to pause and to stop and to see the vision that somebody had behind it. That was what was cool. Yes, they did a reveal. Yes, it is spectacular. Okay.
And I'm sure we'll get into the details
stadium.
of that in just a minute.
Yeah, fantastic. But love that. I love seeing, but I like hearing the story behind the vehicle. It flows completely into my car motto that there is a car for every human. Mm-hmm. You just need to find the right car to match with the right person. And then that's what you need. You get a chance like no other to do that at the auto show. So yeah, auto journalist, car junkie, tech nerd, game on. You'll find your happy place there.
So let's talk about the Genesis house particularly for a minute, because that was something I was incredibly jealous of. They're kind of following in the steps of what Cadillac did a few years ago. Cadillac separated from the GM brand as far as their headquarters. They moved their headquarters to Soho in Manhattan and did the Cadillac house and had kind of this escape in the middle of Manhattan. Very, very similar. They have since moved back to Detroit, housed with everyone else. But Genesis said, you know what? You were onto something here. Let's lean in a little bit further. And so you were saying there's a restaurant, there's a showroom.
But it's not like any kind of showroom you've ever seen before. It's more like a brand experience. More like if you were going into a luxury, like a fashion atelier, like a fashion house, you're going into one of those where it's more of a boutique experience. So you'll get to see colors, you'll get to see sustainable art, you'll get to see design pieces that are elements that you never would see inside the vehicle, but they went into the design, the inspiration for the vehicles. And what they also do is there is a peek at future next there, and you get to see it. And I was like, need to do this again.
Yeah, and you've kind of been living a little bit of your best Genesis life here lately, because you were also invited to the grand opening of the first ever standalone Genesis dealership, which is 4.5 hours away from me, a little bit further away from you in Lafayette, Louisiana. And again, just being immersed in all things Genesis.
So what I've discovered is that, yes, they're a part of the same motor group, but they want to say, we are independent. Mm-hmm. We have the same DNA. We have the same mobility giant essence, but we are a luxury brand. We are a new luxury brand, but we are not a luxury brand like you've seen before.
Right.
And I think that's a unique part of this. Lafayette, I didn't know why Lafayette is what I said when I got there. I was like, so you're going to open your standalone U.S. location in Lafayette, Louisiana. Mm. Why not Miami? Any one of these other big cities? Lafayette said yes. They said, yes, let's do this now. I think when you have a whole community that buys into an experience, mm-hmm. and once you get there, you realize it's not out of place there. It actually fits. It's right across the street from an Audi dealership, and it doesn't feel different. It feels, oh, this is the next. Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I just got my first extended stay in a Genesis product last week in the GV70 2.5 liter Turbo 4. So not even the most premium offering they had. Mm-mm. And I could have shed a tear when it drove away, because I alluded to this in last week's episode where I was speaking with your successor as the VP of events for Tawa and Brian Ropp. Like, I loved that vehicle in ways I completely did not expect. It
human, right?
Right.
It's human centered. It thinks about you as a driver and your people in the back. My kids said, Mom, maybe we should keep this one. Maybe we should keep this one. I was like, guys, I feel you. I feel you on that.
If only it works that way.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. I was like, mm-hmm. You see it drive away. It pulled up, and I was like, oh, that looks good. Mm-hmm. Did you notice the micro suede on the tires? Mm-hmm. There's micro suede check on the tires. I was like, oh, if you're gonna do that on the part that's bound to get stupid dirty in my neighborhood, think about what you did on the inside.
Yeah, so not to dive too much into that because you and I both have our own reviews coming out focusing on that. But
Yep.
while you were at the Genesis house, something very gorgeous was revealed. And what can you tell us about this concept, this design study, this whatever?
So the design study. So their design house, I'm going to call him a design house master, was named the World Car Person of the Year. And we'll have to get the correct spelling of his name because I do not want to butcher it. But Luke is his name.
Right.
And you listen to him talk about it. And I was like, interesting. He's going to make a roadster, right? Is what I was thinking as I was listening to him talk. Because he has an affinity for the classic sports cars of like not this past generation, but the one before that. Those sexy cars that you saw that just, when you look at them, you can't take your eyes away. That, to create that experience, but for electric, because that's the direction that Genesis is going to be, purely electric.
Right.
But he didn't want it to be exotic or to scream electric. He wanted it to be magnificent. A car you looked at and goes, you sit there and stare with your mouth open, like that kind of car, but elegant. Yes. The Speedium Coupe, and it's Genesis X. And I said, holy smoke. Okay. One, you've got this pinstriping on the outside, but it's not even that. It's the slow, slung shape. It's almost architectural, but then you look at it and you know it'll be fast.
Right.
It's going to be brilliant. It leans heavy into the luxury arm, like the Mercedes EQS.
Right.
How that you look at that car and you're like, that's 120. I know it's going to be.
Yeah.
You know it in your mind. Like it's right there looking at it. You're like, that's going to be some change. That's the way you look at that car. But then you want to go touch it. You want to get up there and go touch it like that. It's not even beautiful for an EV. It's just a beautiful vehicle.
Right.
One that says that. Timeless. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like timeless, to where it's not going to age itself out.
And that's just what's so crazy about the whole Hyundai Motor Company, their umbrella of brands, Hyundai, Genesis, Kia. It's like the designers have been finally just unleashed. They say, all right, you think of concept cars from 10 years ago that never saw production. That's what we want to give you the liberty to create, and then we're going to transform it to something that will actually show up on the road, which is one of the things I love so much about the GV70 and the new GV60 electric vehicle that they've got coming out. And then this concept that you were shown at the Genesis house as part of the New York Auto Show. They have the creativity and the freedom to do what I wish so many other brands could do and just create and make something beautiful.
And that's one of the things he commented on. He commented that great design does not happen without support from your leadership.
Right.
And then I thought about that. And if your boss, if your leader of your organization, his thing is progress for humanity, because that's what Jose Munez's thing is. And you talk to him and he literally says that. He's like, well, this is the goal. This is the target. This is where everything is driven, but not just progress at lower levels, progress that's elegant and timeless and functional. I was like, he really means that.
Yes.
That's not a tagline. I was like, interesting. Okay. But if that happens, if that's the actual goal, that means you have the capacity to literally change the way auto functions between Kia, Genesis, Hyundai. I'm just saying, if you want to talk about a brand pivot, let's talk about Kia over the last 7 years.
Exactly. And it's crazy to see them setting the stage for design cues that are now being borrowed in other vehicles. The greenhouse line on the Kia Telluride, the chrome on the B pillar, is being stolen by other brands. And it's just small things like that that would almost go unnoticed are now being picked up by other designers. And I love it. I'm here for it all day. It's very exciting to see the evolution of automotive design and how the Hyundai company is leading that charge.
I love that automotive isn't just automotive anymore. It is mobility. The way that cars are connected into people's lives now, it's not just a car. Your car becomes an office. It becomes a living room. It becomes a family space. It becomes an outdoor living space, depending on the car you have.
Yeah.
These cars become integrated into lives now instead of it's a recreational vehicle. It's, I don't even know what the word for it is, but it's something more. It's definitely something more, for more than that.
It's
I like it.
An extension of who we are and what we do. With the events of the last 2-3 years playing into it, with the rise in vehicle prices, you're invested a little bit more now as well. So
a lot more.
Yeah. I've been one, I'm getting crotchety in my old age, that I've been complaining about the rise in vehicle prices. But also, when you look back at what was being produced 10 years ago, 15 years ago, just the leaps and bounds in the build quality and how solidly these things are built, you start to see where that rise in price has come. And you give a little more leniency. Sure, nobody wants to pay more, but you really are getting more in return.
The cars from 10 years ago won't make it now.
Right.
They won't.
The longevity, the build quality, all of that. It's very awesome to see the continual growth and evolution of these brands, especially brands that have been around 100 plus years. So
I know.
Cadillac's coming up on 120. So like it's insane. So we can spend forever speaking about Genesis and Hyundai and Kia and what they're doing over there. But I wanted to bring you on for New York Auto Show. I've got a list here of some of the big reveals from the show. Jeep Grand Cherokee High Altitude 4xe, the Grand Wagoneer and Wagoneer L, Chrysler Airflow, the Telluride, the Palisade, the Nero, the Outback. With all of these new vehicles being unveiled, being shown off at New York, what stood out to you?
Families, okay, they're going to love the new stuff from Stellantis. Okay, because if you're looking for something new, and you're not quite ready to dip all the way EV, which a lot of Texas isn't.
Right.
Just saying, those things are going to be fantastic. When you're talking to your land yachts, your big, massive luxury family vehicles, Stellantis is like, come on, friend, come on.
Yeah, so plug-in hybrid has been like the missing link for many brands. It's like brands are jumping straight from pure gas to pure EV and skipping over plug-in hybrid altogether. Stellantis says, no, not us, especially in the Jeep brand with their 4xe. So we've got the Wrangler 4xe plug-in hybrid, which is the number one plug-in hybrid on the market. And they're leaning into that even more with the Grand Cherokee, with their highest trim level, the High Altitude, being exclusive to 4xe. So tell me about that, because oh my goodness, and that hydro blue.
I was like, I need a dress that matches this, and he was kind of like, I was like, you don't get it, but I get it.
Right.
I get it. Okay, gorgeous. And I think that there is a place for the plug-in hybrid. I think there is a legit place for it, and I think there's a place for it in that luxury space. Let's not pretend about the cash for these vehicles, okay? The cash for these the price point is not play change.
Right.
Like the price point is...
I believe it's a $7,000 premium for the 4xe. So, yeah. But what you get?
But what you get for it? Those Jeep buyers are loyal. They will buy a Jeep and then follow it up with the next Jeep,
right?
And the next. They stay within the family. but it hits that middle spot where people are not quite ready for EV. Yes, we're saying that the world is going to go EV, and eventually, this is just me, this is mine. I don't think it's going to be all EV. I think it's going to be EV alternative fuels. I think we're going to see more hydrogen. I think we're going to see some other alternative fuels start to rise up as this adoption curve kicks over. But you'll start to see it, because you even saw some electric alternative fuels, even a hydrogen supercar. And I was like, so y'all came to play.
Right.
Okay. And you look at it, and it didn't say, you didn't say, oh, that's an electric car. You said, that's a supercar.
Right.
Super. Like with a capital S.
Yes.
In front of my name. That kind of car. I think you're going to see more of that. Yeah. I love what Toyota Lexus is doing with the BZ platform. You see, they're being generous with it. Right. Okay. You got that as the base for the Solterra. I mean, there is this collaboration between brands. You've also got Toyota and Mazda working together in Alabama, where that CX-50 is made. Okay. Right. They're not using the same parts, but they're using the same plants and investing. That's a new kind of generous that we haven't seen from brands if they're not in the same house.
Yeah, and then
like you see with HMA.
Yeah, and then you've got General Motors and Honda saying, "Okay, let's go." And
let's go.
It's a very unique time, and we're definitely in the midst of a pivot. My wife has joined my review channel, and she has definitely picked up on the hybridification of vehicles. And that's one of the first things she asks is this offered in a hybrid? Is this offered in a hybrid? And I'm like, well, no, not yet, but they're teasing it, or no, not at all. But it has definitely piqued her interest as just an average consumer. She's like, okay, I've experienced, I know what I like, I want more of.
Exactly. And not just more of, but you want to be able to say, you want to feel good about your car.
Right.
Okay. As the world is getting more climate conscious and things are happening, people are wanting more. We want options.
Right.
And I don't think options are ever a bad idea. Like, give me some choice in it. Something else I saw at New York Auto Show was, yes, it was about the car, but it was also about the feeling that the car gives the driver. Like, what do you use this car for?
Right.
Instead of just saying, hey, this is the breakdown of the vehicle. This is what we do. This is what it does. Blah, 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 blah. This car provides this experience. I like it. I like that. I like that feel, that human element inside of the vehicle. It's time.
It absolutely is. And that just plays into, again, the investment that people are making, the ways in which we're using our vehicles moving forward. It just wraps it all up into a package. We want choices, like you said. We want options. We want something that fits who we are, which is getting seemingly more diverse by the day. And just I don't know. I'm here for it. I'm loving what I'm seeing roll out. I love being a part of it, being able to cover it.
What did you see on so which one are you most excited about?
So I am intrigued from a business standpoint. So I graduated with a management degree with the Chrysler brand. Here is a brand that is kind of withering on the vine. They have the Pacifica, which we drove to California and back and loved. They've got the
amazing.
Right. They've got the Pacifica Hybrid, which they count as a separate model. And then they've got the Chrysler 300 sedan, which nobody's really buying sedans anymore. And they truly have to clean slate ground up. And they've introduced the airflow concept and now this new alter ego of the airflow concept, and bringing back a heritage name with perhaps not the best reputation, but in a stunning crossover thing with new design language that did very well in March. We had a Dream Car Bracket Challenge. It actually did fairly well in the EV category with our fan votes on Instagram. So people seem to like the design language and where they're going. So that one intrigued me because Chrysler as a brand is going to have to do a lot of work to reestablish itself. And I'm interested to see how that brand navigates the next 10 years before basically the CEO of Stellantis said, you've got a decade, make it happen.
I think that brand is perfectly situated for rebuilding. People are watching, people are ready, and they want to see what comes next from them just because they have the heritage to be able to do it.
Right.
You know, they've got the heritage. It's not about throwing money at something now. Now it's about creating something that people want to buy.
Yes.
And that they're going to want to keep and that they will come evangelical about. That's what they need. Their next thing. This could be it. If they do it right, it could be it.
Right. So before we dive into you as a person and more about you, what was like your lasting memory from the 2022 New York International Auto Show?
I probably needed another day.
Yes.
I scheduled myself. I scheduled myself tight, and I probably needed another day. There's an energy there, an energy of excitement, an energy of new, an energy of, we know we have one of the best products on the planet. Now come look at it.
Right.
Yeah. I needed another day. And so next year I will make sure that I have another day. But I left wanting more. And that's a huge thing. I wasn't like, oh, I'm ready to go. I was like, oh man, I could go back and I could do another day.
Right.
I could do another day, you know?
Totally feel you on that one. I've learned that lesson the hard way myself. And when I do events like that, if there is any possibility of adding on a little extra time, I generally take it because it's the phrase drinking from a fire hydrant is very appropriate.
That's accurate.
So much to take in, and it all comes flooding at you, and you just come gasping for air. So,
and that's what it's like. And I was like, all right. And it said, move to your next press conference now. And they had the big signs that walk you over. But I was like, I'm still trying to get pictures.
Right.
Oh, that.
Yes.
That was awesome. And then it's time to go on to the next thing. Yeah.
So pivoting a little, in January, you took the reins as incoming president of Texas Auto Writers Association, and your previous position was vice president of events. We talked to you last year after the spring event, or in the middle of it, actually, just to discover all that went into making that event happen last year. But how has life been since taking on this new role?
Busy.
Yes.
Busy, but exhilarating, like absolutely exhilarating. What Kristen did a fantastic job. Yes, and thankfully she's around to still be like, hey girl, you got this, keep going. It's been busy, but it's so much fun and so much information. And you realize what a gift it is to be able to do what we do for a living.
Right.
Like, what an actual gift it is. I love that Texas is home to we've literally got every terrain that you want to drive a car on.
Yes, we do.
Pretty much here. And we hit all the weather seasons at the same time. But in addition to that, it's a gift. It's a literal gift to be able to represent Texas, to basically be an ambassador for Texas. Be like, come on, y'all.
Yeah.
We got the good stuff here. Come on down. It's going to be great.
Again, to give credit where credit is due, like you already mentioned, Kristen Shaw, the outgoing president, did a tremendous job reshaping, reforming, and reestablishing Texas Auto Writers as a formidable group of journalists, one worthy of recognition, to the point where I absolutely adored during the Jeep press conference seeing our logo up on screen in New York City. Like, yes, we know what we're talking about. We know what we're doing, and listen to us.
Yes, and it's not just Jeep. I mean, you go, I've literally been to probably every auto show on both sides of the country right now, and you see our trophies.
Yes.
You see our trophies just because of world-class content. Our manufacturers know that Texas loves a great car, loves a great truck. So why wouldn't you come to this? This is your audience. It's literally a microcosm of the U.S. right here.
Yeah, like you said, we've got like everything under the sun. You've got the big cities in Dallas, Houston, Austin, San Antonio, communities like what I live in that are up and coming with Tyler and East Texas and all the farming and everything out there. You've got West Texas, which is wide and open. You've got coastal. You've got mountains.
Like this.
Yeah, you've got everything, and you need a vehicle to meet your needs. And so, yeah, we're very diverse people, very diverse landscape, very diverse everything. And so is the membership of TAWA and what we do. And
yes.
Yeah.
And that's not just a blessing, but it's something we work for. And I'm thankful for that because you get to show the best of Texas. Right. Does that make sense? Like the best of us. I like that. I love being able to represent that. So that's, I don't even know how else to say it, just besides, yeah, I'm sitting up here grinning. I'm like, yeah, we are. Yeah.
Well, it like you said, it is who we are. We are a force to be reckoned with. It's awesome to have brands like Toyota literally in our backyard. So awesome to have them move here to Texas. You've got brands like Tesla now moving to Texas. You've got the DeLorean Motor Company that has been in Texas but is reestablishing itself. So there's just so much going on within the state itself for business, for automotive, and I'm here for it and glad to be a part and cover. And
I'm here for it too.
Yeah.
But this is a very unique time to be in automotive. People are coming to this space from other things. And they're bringing all these other skills, all these other ideas, and they're making the conversation more entertaining, more engaging, more active. Yeah, I'm here for it. This is the right time to be here.
Yeah. So I want to close out this interview getting to know you just a little bit better, take advantage of an opportunity. Last time we spoke, we were doing this random question bit at the end, but we were live and in person on site and did not let you partake in this segment. So this
I'm ready.
Is 8 random questions. I've got a list of more than 8, but I will kind of work my way through it. Rapid fire style, just to get to learn and know more about you as a person. And there are no wrong answers. It's truly fun, and don't sweat it too much. But the first one I'm going to jump into.
Okay.
You and I are both in unique situations in that we hardly drive our own vehicles anymore. But do you name your vehicles?
I have. Golden Olive, is the name of my Jeep Compass.
Okay.
That my 16-year-old is waiting to drive. I've had Blueberry, which was a Liberty. I've had Goldie, the other Goldie, and that was my Mercedes SUV that I sadly sold recently. I also had Red Lipstick, which was my Mitsubishi Outlander that I had before that.
Okay. I jokingly say that there's only one question with the wrong answer, and that was it, and you got it right. So kudos to you on that one.
Awesome.
Just because I know you and we've gotten along so well for so long, I'm going to dig a little more into your psyche here. Favorite driving song or genre, or what do you listen to when you just got to drive?
Soundtracks.
Okay.
Soundtracks to whatever movie I happen to be on. Right now, I'm on an Avengers kick. So I've got the soundtrack to Avengers Endgame going on repeat right now.
Very, very unique. I used to do that when I needed to focus at work before I quit my day job. It was especially classical music soundtracks helped focus in.
They help to focus. Also, outside of that one is the soundtrack to Shang-Chi. So,
Okay.
which is amazing, actually. And there's songs in it, and we're like this. And so you'll see my kids in some of the pictures, and they look like they're mid-dance. Oh, because they are.
Yep. Favorite road trip snack?
Oh, gosh. Is it in the morning or the afternoon?
Doesn't matter. What's your go-to?
Afternoon, Lay's potato chips.
Okay. Just
Yellow bag.
Okay.
Yellow bag.
Good old classic standby. Can't go wrong, right?
Classic. No, nothing weird on top of it. Just plain potato chip.
All right. Let's see here. Favorite car movie?
Ford versus Ferrari.
All right. Yes.
Yeah.
That absolutely good one. Classic. Gotta see. All right. Digging.
Italian Job after that.
Oh, yes. That has always been on my list and made me respect Mini Cooper just a little bit more back in the day.
Yeah.
Color or grayscale?
Color.
Yes. Favorite vehicle color combination?
Red. I am a sucker for a red car with some shiny tires. Okay. Black. White walls, okay, I mean, I guess, but I want that black tire and that shiny red. You know, that paint job that Mazda does? And it's like brand new nail polish.
Soul red crystal.
And you're like, oh, yes. I was like, yeah, you did the thing with that.
I recently drove a highlighter yellow, as it was described, Camaro SS 1LE, and I'm here for loud colors all day, every day.
Yes, no subtlety. I'm not that kind of person. You know, ta-da!
Yes. This will be a good one. More tech or less tech in vehicles?
More tech if I don't have to mess with it. It needs to know what it's supposed to do. If I have to hunt and figure something out, it's going to get real annoying real fast. It needs to be intuitive. It needs to do what it needs to do, and I don't need to think about the car. I need to do my job driving. I don't have to mess with it. None of that.
I agree wholeheartedly, and my wife, I'm sure, is in the background saying amen, because it should just work, and I agree.
It should just work. You know, there's nothing more annoying than trying to plug your phone in or not plug your phone in, and it keeps telling you to redo it, and I'm just like, never mind.
Yeah, no, stop. All right, given the two major events we do for Texas Auto Riders and your previous position as the VP of events, one is on-road, one is off-road, what is your preference for driving, on-road or off?
On-road.
On-road?
On-road. I like it. Yeah, I like the road the best. Yep, a little bit of speed.
Yes.
Okay, a lot of speed, but I like it.
All right, which leads me into the last question. There's so many to choose from. Favorite, most outstanding vehicle on the market today? We'll go with that one.
That G70. Yeah.
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 They just seem to have gotten it all right.
They got it right. They got it really, really right. They got it really, really right.
All right. Well, that's a little bit we'll put the random misfire aside. If people want to know more about you, what you do, you are always on the road, it seems like. How can they find you? How can they keep up with you?
They can find me on Instagram at Teia Collier. They can find me on Facebook, also Teia Collier, or Dallas Single Parents. They can find me on the website, DallasSingleMom.com, or I'm all over the place.
Yes, you are.
You search for my name, Teia Collier, you'll find me. I'm there.
And for our listeners who are really savvy, we will put links to all of this in the show notes so that you don't even have to hunt for it. You just scroll up, tap, and go. Teia is incredibly busy. I thank you so much for carving just a little bit of time out of your day to talk with me about New York, look a little bit ahead to our Texas Auto Riders event coming up, and just to, dream about all things automotive. Thank you. Okay. Whew. She is a blast to talk to. We could have talked so much more. I do apologize. We did have some connectivity issues throughout this episode, and we did the best that we could to clean them up. I'm very sad that every once in a while we had to pause and re-record something. So I do apologize for that, but I am so grateful for, like I said in the intro, her time, her leadership, and what she does. She is so fun to talk to, so fun to follow along with. Be sure to scroll down to the show notes, follow her on her platforms, go check out her website and all that she does. She stays very busy, but she is obviously, if you could not tell, very passionate about what she does, and we are so grateful for her and her time. As for me, you know what I do. You know how to find me. gtgaragetalk.com links you to everything, our YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all that good stuff. Until next time, gearheads, bye.